finished with the newsprint.
Well, good. Let's do it then.
Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to the Fundamentals of Instruction and Facilitation. I'm Carol Patch, an instructor with the Disaster Services Training System.
And I'm Gregory Smith, and I too am a Disaster Services instructor. And we're very pleased that you've decided to join the team of Disaster Services instructors throughout the United States.
The purpose of today's course is to provide the skills, abilities, and knowledge necessary to become a basic or intermediate instructor and facilitator with the American Red Cross Disaster Services Training System. Today you'll have an opportunity to observe experienced instructors as they perform the instructor functions and methods. You'll also have an opportunity to watch them as they prepare for, conduct, and evaluate training and simulations in the American Red Cross Disaster Services Training System. This is the first step in learning to do two types of instructing. The first type is instructor-led, where the instructor presents content, assigns tasks, and uses visual aids to convey course content. Examples of these courses include Logistics and Overview, Shelter Operations, and Disaster Welfare Inquiry, Connecting Your Community. In a simulation, the facilitator spends very little time presenting course content. Instead, he or she gives task assignments, lets the table teams create the learning, and conducts a debrief of the session to reinforce key points. Examples of these courses include the Logistics Simulation and the Shelter Simulation.
Now, let's take a moment to review the learning objectives of this course. Describe how to represent the Red Cross and be an effective instructor and facilitator. Describe selected concepts of adult learning theory and how they relate to disaster training. Describe basic instructor functions, course methods, and how to use them. Describe how to set up, lead, maintain, and debrief a simulation. Identify how to plan for a teaching assignment. Explain future career actions and direction. The course is designed to allow you to work at your own pace. It's divided into 9 segments, and each segment is introduced by a video. Your workbook contains more detailed information about each topic. Some of these activities will ask you to practice out loud. If you're taking this course with a group, it's a good idea if you take turns practicing and then giving each other feedback.
It's also important that you complete the review questions and the task activity practices at the end of each unit. Not only do these help to make you a better instructor, but they'll prepare you for the questions at the end of this course. You will need the answers to those questions when you apply to your unit for additional disaster instructor training. Now, the topics we're going to cover in this course today are the importance of being an instructor facilitator, or being part of the disaster training team representing the American Red Cross. How do people learn? The adult learning principles. The role of the instructor, basic functions and communication. Common methods for teaching courses. Common methods for facilitating simulations. Getting ready to teach. How to prepare prior to the course. Instructional aids. A review of common instructional equipment such as newsprints and overheads. Completing evaluations, records, and reports. This covers what you need to do following the course. And then what's next for you? How do you get credit for this course? What are the next steps from here?
Now that we know a little bit more about the course, why don't we move on into segment number 1, the importance of being an instructor facilitator. As you'll see, being an instructor facilitator for disaster services is a big responsibility. But also being a part of a team that's helping people learn is immensely satisfying.
Disaster Services Training has a vital role in the American Red Cross. We are the people who teach the volunteer and the paid staff persons to effectively deliver services to our disaster clients or to support the disaster operation. You will see in the upcoming video segment how important disaster services instructors really are. You will also hear from instructors like Gregory and myself explain the importance of the role of the disaster instructor.
Disaster relief operations are demanding. Workers may not know what to expect. What is a typical day really like? Will it be hazardous? Will I be working with people who have lost their homes? How can I apply my skills? In order to prepare workers about what to expect on assignments and the nature of the work, Disaster Services has developed a training system. We count on chapters and instructors like you to conduct preparedness training so that Red Cross volunteer and paid staff will be ready to respond when a disaster occurs.
I would say in the gym.
When disasters occur, you may also conduct orientations for newly arriving workers, teach refresher courses, and offer training to new volunteers.
Being an instructor carries several responsibilities.
Teach only what you are qualified to teach.
Teach the design of the course for standardization.
Keep current on regulations and procedures.
And changes for the function.
To students, you are the American Red Cross.
Be a professional.
You're part of a team that strengthens the chapter.
You can be creative, have fun,
and help someone learn.
We've seen some of the responsibilities and rewards of being an instructor facilitator. Our instructors provide quality instruction to disaster services. This enables disaster workers to provide quality services to our clients. As you can see, disaster instructors play a vital role in the American Red Cross's overall mission. It's important that chapters have quality workers available to respond in a time of need. It's also important that chapters have qualified disaster instructors available to teach on a regular basis.
I think disaster courses in the chapter help the chapter build capacity. We have to provide a significant number of Red Cross services following a disaster, and we need to have as many individuals prepared to respond at the time of a disaster as possible. We find that people come with all kinds of backgrounds and experiences, and we need to be sure that those individuals who are coming in to volunteer with the American Red Cross have the opportunity to use their life experiences to really help us provide service delivery. An excellent disaster instructor is one who engages with their class participants, has an opportunity to share with them some life experiences as a disaster volunteer or a disaster worker. I think that is critically important, as well as being able to impart significant information so that it can be easily understood and that they have an opportunity to react and to work with all of the participants to be sure that they feel very comfortable about the work that they're about to partake as Red Cross volunteers.
You've heard from a chapter manager and from several disaster instructors about the important role that instructors play on disaster operations. However, there is much more. We're going to ask you to stop the tape, go to your workbooks, and read pages 3 through 5.